Man, hello, happy afternoon, good morning, whatever time you're watching this. What an absolute honor. What a thrill to be here. I'm with my dear buddy John LaRoy from Apparel Redefined. John, happy Wednesday. How are you, dude?
What's up, Kurt? How are you? Always great to
Um,
see you.
man, I could,
Oh,
dude,
thanks.
if I was doing any better, you might have to call 911. It's just I'm just so excited for this conversation right now. So we are talking with the one, the only Adrienne Palmer. Adrienne, how are you? What's happening?
What an intro. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So now we won't go deep, but I understand you're a Bobcat. Do it like now journalism major. You're a Bobcat. So for our friends out there, not like, wait, who's the Bobcats? So we're talking wonderful Ohio University in great city of Athens. What inspired you to get into journalism?
Yeah, so my dad worked in the art department at the Dayton Daily News. I'm from Dayton. And so
Nice.
I grew up after school just hanging out with reporters and designers and just loving the newspaper life. And so I went to Ohio University. I actually started out in broadcast journalism. That didn't last very long. Moved over to magazine journalism almost immediately. And just have always loved to write and edit and kind of be in that world. Interned at the Dayton Daily News, but realized that wasn't, going to be like career path for me. So was searching for magazine journalism jobs in the Ohio area and came across Big Picture Magazine, which is in the wide format world, and kind of the rest is history.
The rest is history. Well, now you're editor in chief. So now, I mean, you moved right up the corporate ladder quickly at your young age. Super impressive. And so now you're with DTF Printing. I want to go here for a second. What attracted you? So journalism, what attracted you to the fashion industry, if you will?
Yeah, so I knew nothing about wide format digital print, which is where I started with Big Picture.
Mhm.
And as you said, yes, I was started out as assistant editor, worked my way up to editor in chief, and then we had some restructuring with our company. So I added Screen Printing Magazine. And even though it was a sister publication, I really wasn't involved. I obviously attended Printing United, knew that it was around, but just was kind of laser focused to wide format. But my first event was screen printing and I was like, oh, this is amazing. Everyone is so cool and welcoming. And I kind of feel like I had found my community. And so, I was at the time like balancing big picture and screen printing. But really, really loving the apparel side. And so when Andy McDaniel of DTF Superstore reached out to me last year, and it was an opportunity to start something completely new in an industry that I loved with a technology that I thought and still at the time, feel like it's just booming. I thought, why not? And
Right.
so, yeah, I really had no background with print at all. And everyone's always confused, like, oh, were you a printer before? I'm like, not at all. I can with some guidance. But yeah, no actual like print experience.
Well, phenomenal. How inspiring. Like, and when you graduate from college, you're kind of like, well, I think this is what my path is, it's going to be this, but then it kind of like it goes a little bit, up and down and all over the place. So just love the transitions that you've made. So let's dive into DTF. Please share, who is DTF? How do you and your wonderful team make the world a better place?
Oh, yes. Well, I do think that we are making the world a better place with our education resources. So, DTF Printing is a media company dedicated to helping apparel decorators grow their business. And so, we are a website, we have a newsletter. I have the DTF Printing podcast, which John was a guest. Everyone go check out that episode. It's great. Um, and so we're just a resource to people who either are just starting out, have no idea even, what DTF printing is, but they're going to buy a heat press, or maybe they're even buying DTF printing equipment, all the way to larger companies like John, who has been in the screen printing space forever, but are bringing on DTF technology and are looking for new products and trends and business tips to grow in this new space. We also
Well,
have a directory, a marketplace. We are the media sponsor of DTF Expo. So we have a lot of content that is just ready and available to everyone interested in DTF printing.
Gosh, in what I'm hearing, what I love is just the sheer dedication to helping your, just your like you mentioned, like, I found my crowd, I found my peeps. And so, what a perfect marriage for you of just coming in and just helping elevating, entrepreneurs, small business owners, like our friend John. And like you said, John's on a, bigger side. John, let's pull you in, my friend. What, your relationship with DTF Printing, what attracted you to this relationship here?
Yeah, I mean, DTF's relatively new for us. It's been around. We dipped our toes in the water about 2 years ago when it was like just coming out, and Adrian's in a tough spot, right? Like they do a really good job over there, but DTF is and still is looked at as a threat to screen print, right? And a lot of screen printers, there's really three ways you can go about it. I will never use DTF. It's a cheap substitute for an art form. Two, I will use it at some point, just not right now. And three, like us, we're diving in because we're looking at it as a complement to the services we offer. But there's so much, like, imagine if like when Henry Ford invented the car, right? And he had like a little bit of a runway with the production line. But if every car manufacturer started making the same Model T at the same time, the consumer would be completely overwhelmed, right? And that's essentially what happened with DTF. Every like last year, we were talking before we went live. This entire trade show, which is section of it is devoted to apparel decoration. Like I would say 75% of the traffic and the equipment being sold was all in DTF, which is unheard of. Like it would always be dominated by screen printing. So yeah, there's a lot of vendors out there. There's a lot of manufacturers there, and there's so many different components in the digital side that don't exist in the analog side. And for people like, the Cricut essentially is kind of like a DTF, right? And you have all these, people that stay at home and want to get involved in the business. And this is that next kind of step up from the Cricut. So there's a whole new vertical in the market that people can start their own t-shirt decoration business with this type of equipment at a pretty affordable price point. But there's a lot of like buyer beware out there, and a lot of kind of crap to sort through to find out how to really do it, who to talk to. And Adrienne and her team do a really good job of kind of cutting through the noise and talking to people like me that have adopted it. Some people are still on the fence. And everything in between, right? And we've seen this before in the apparel decoration industry about 10 years ago with DTG, and it's just kind of like history repeating itself with a similar technology, but a different application because it's more platform friendly than DTG. So a lot going on there, but yeah, met Adrienne actually through an email because they were reaching out to industry decorators and seeing if we adopted it yet, what our thoughts are, and just kind of threw a questionnaire and then invited me on her podcast. And then she actually came and visited with a camera crew, which he was super talented, awesome dude too. And actually, as big as we think this industry is, it's really kind of small because like everyone is like really like 1 degree of separation away from like, we just had Merrill from Rock and
Mhm.
Kurt.
Yep.
We did a podcast with Rock and Merrill. And actually Merrill knows Adrian's, I'm sorry, what's his name again?
Oh, Seth
Seth, yeah.
Green.
And they grew up in Louisiana, like next to each other. Yeah, crazy. Small, super small world. Even smaller than the South Side sometimes. But yeah. So, long story short, we met via email and really have enjoyed enjoyed each other's company. And she moved to Chicago for a while, and hopefully she's enjoying it. But yeah, I just want to thank her for involving me because it means a lot to think that people actually want to hear what I want to say.
No, that's awesome. So, Adrian, man, I have a ton of questions for you, but I know we're limited on time. What anything that you want to piggyback on what John just shared?
Yeah, well, one, thank you, John. It's been such a pleasure getting to know you and seeing your facility. I think that's always so key, is to get in and actually see the production process and your employees and really check out everything that's happening. So if anyone's interested, John's shop tour will go live at the beginning of September. So make sure
Awesome.
you check that out at dtfprinting.com, and we'll post it on social media and share with John's team to do so as well. But I always think it's so important for people to see inside shops. I know I've met plenty of apparel decorators who have never even been to a different print shop, and to be able to see, and especially one that you may be, looking up to, get a lot of different ideas. But yeah, John had mentioned Printing United, which is coming up soon. And in Atlanta last year, I launched DTF. Well, it was DTF.com. I made a big splash with that URL. We launched it the day before Printing United last year. We're now DTFprinting.com as our URL. But I thought it was like, am I just biased because I just launched this last night and everyone wants to talk about DTF? But no, it's like that was such a huge discussion topic. And I do think that even on the wide format side with the Mamakis and Rolands that maybe have a little bit of their toes already in the apparel side, they're moving into DTF because they understand digital printing. Seeing a lot other manufacturers either offering automated heat press or getting into the DTF space in some way. So I'll be curious to see if there are any new additions at Printing United this year. But I think in the next few years, that technology is going to grow, it will advance. And yeah, John, I usually say there are 3 ways to offer DTF printing, which is to bring everything in-house, to outsource just the transfers and heat press in-house, or outsource everything. But you added a 4th. We're not doing that at all, which I think is a limited mindset. I'm all about growth mindset and finding ways to diversify. And if, you don't change, then your business has the potential to, not be there in the next few years. So yeah, I think people were maybe a little bit concerned that DTF was going to be so similar to DTG and have some limitations. But I think, again, as the technology grows and people understand there's a lot of testing and figuring out your environment and doing training, there will be so many more benefits. And I don't think DTF is going away. I also don't think screen printing is going away. I think it's just another addition and another offering that you can provide to your clients, that you can't do everything that you're doing with your screen printing equipment if you don't have DTF.
Yeah. All right. This is fantastic. So now I want to slide in this. You've piqued my curiosity, Adrienne. So journalism is in your DNA. Can't even help it, right? Following dad's footsteps. And as a girl dad, I just love hearing that. And so, since college, now like it just sounds like you guys are fierce with your content. You're supporting manufacturers. Ironically, John, we did a tour of your place. I'm walking around my little laptop, the wonderful workers he has and the facility and the system and the processes, machinery, just wonderful. So I'm just glad to hear that, Adrienne. What transitions, what changes have you seen since you got out of college from a journalism major to now? You're applying your journalism skills. Podcasting. Did you ever dream podcasting, all the new content, all the social media? What are your thoughts there as far as like as a content machine? How do you feel like with all this content as a journalism major?
Well, I started out in broadcast journalism and quickly changed because I didn't think anyone needed to hear the sound of my voice. I'm not kidding. I heard it on the radio and I was like, absolutely not. And now here I am on my second. This is the second podcast that I've had, the DTF printing one. I had Screensaver with Screen Printing Magazine. I'm on podcasts all the time. So it's just kind of funny that, I was like, I'm just going to write and edit and never be in front of the camera. And here I am. But yeah, I mean, you nailed it. Like there's so much that you have to be providing, and people receive their content in so many different ways. And even if people are just, all they do is look at Instagram, like you also have to have captions on Instagram, because people aren't listening, with sound. There's so many little intricacies, and to be able to capture people and really grab their attention is so difficult because we have minds that are like even worse than goldfish. So, our attention span is just so quick. And so, I mean, I guess the biggest change for me personally is with screen printing and big picture, we had a print magazine. And that is what one of my biggest focuses was the print magazine. And then screen printing went to digital, which was a huge change. Screen printing is a 70+ year old company. And a few years ago, we went all digital and people, were like, what? This is crazy. One, the magazine used to be like 250 pages. And then it was, dwindling. But the digital edition actually brought so many new audience members and a fresh perspective. We could have videos within the page. So I really think it's just that adapting to what people are interested in and knowing that they're interested in a lot. And for me, it's like we're posting to social media every single day. We're making sure that we connect with people. You can subscribe to our newsletter, our e-blast. It's making sure that we're sharing this education and you can get it however you want, but it's a challenge. I'm not going to lie. Like social media is tough. That's why we have Seth, because that's not my wheelhouse at all. And yeah, it's a fun challenge though.
It's a fun challenge. And I want to go here. I love the word you just said was education. So John and I, we have a little tagline we love to preach. We call it for, like John's entrepreneurs that he services. And what he does a great job at is, I could run a small business. I don't need to have all the vast overhead. He can be my muscle. I can be bigger, thanks to an Apparel Redefined, but I can be that guerrilla marketer. I can like go out and just like really pound the pavement. Any advice that you have, and a tagline that we'd love to say is, how do you out teach the competition? And even if we're just selling t-shirts or screen, whatever we're selling, if we come out as fierce educators, how have you guys found yourselves as being so fiercely committed to educating your customers, your clientele, your community, if you will?
Yeah, well, I think that's so important for print shops to be doing, is educating their customers throughout this entire process. And of course, you can always direct people to a site like dtfprinting.com where they can really understand. But I think it's educating the customer to know the differences between screen printing, between DTG, between DTF, as you are the knowledge center. Like, you are providing this information to them so that they understand that they're getting the best quality product. Some people don't care, but I think there are a lot of customers who want to know the difference and want to be educated because they want to make sure that they're putting their money toward the right product, the process is right. So yeah, for me, education is so important. And I think content is king in this industry, whether you're a manufacturer, whether you are in the media, or you're a print shop owner. Sharing content, whether that's case studies, projects that you've worked on in the past, showing people, what you've done. Customer testimonials are so huge. People are hopping on Google reviews constantly, seeing, what people are saying about you. And so that's a form of content as well. And you're responding to people, in the comments, even if they're saying like not the best thing about your company, so it's just that presence. So if you really do want to grow and expand and find new customers, finding ways to push out content and also be an education source to them, I think is just really important.
Yeah, I love that education source. John, anything that you want to piggyback? You've really jumped, head first, man, right into the deep end as far as content, wasn't a priority in the past. You've really gone all in now. Anything that you want to piggyback off what Adrienne's sharing here?
No, I just think, for 18 years, we didn't do anything, and it's at the time where, okay, I got to do something. And it was always in my head, like, if it's not perfect, I'm not going to do it. And as I am right now with this light that's shining through here in the back, it's probably not perfect, but I'm still doing it. So getting out of your own head, and just starting is what I did in my business. But to talk about my business is different, just because, again, like, I never imagined hearing myself, because I don't like to. But um, one of the things I talk about, Adrienne, and with you, Kurt, as well, is like, I want to elevate the industry. And how are you going to do that if you never talk about it? Right. So, kind of shit or get off the pot type mentality that we have to adopt. But one of the things too is like, the DTF world, I think, like, the way it's marketed right now too is like gang sheets. And especially if you're doing what Adrienne said, where you're buying the transfers, right? So one of the things that we're not testing anymore, because it's full blown in production, it was like the day before Adrienne, or the day Adrienne got here was like the day before we started like print on demand with DTF. So allowing our customers, like, through the education process, like, hey, you have a merch shop, right? Where before you could only do DTG for print on demand. Now we have embroidery, we have DTF and DTG. So that customer isn't limited by fabric type or decoration type on their Shopify store. So that just in time print on demand capability has been augmented by a new technology, which helps people sell more, stress less, and just have more competitive offering than just a person that's kind of pigeonholed in just the DTG space.
Right. Yeah. Being that one-stop shop is so huge, and online stores are just like expanding that opportunity as well. So yeah, I think it's so great to be everything, it's finding that niche, that's a big conversation, or kind of being everything to everyone. And you don't necessarily have to have all that equipment in-house. You can outsource everything, but I think it is still so important to find ways to say yes to your customer, if it makes sense for your business plan.
Right. Makes sense for sure. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Well, this is phenomenal. And Adrienne, I know John and I, we have a running joke about, how do we help people stop being the best kept secret? And you guys are absolutely dedicated and committed to helping your folks there. You have some really exciting things. Do you mind pulling up? Do you have anything that you want to pull up or share real quick?
Yeah.
You have a couple of things that we want to talk about. You've mentioned your podcast, a couple events coming up. What do you want to share here?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, just pulling up the DTFprinting.com website right now, head to DTFprinting.com. We have industry news weekly, education sections. Our directory is actually something that we're really promoting right now. So either your equipment directory, print service directory, or marketplace. And so if you're on the Facebook groups, they can be very overwhelming, and everyone's always on there like, I need someone in, Chicago today to print this. And it's like, okay, well, we have more of a vetted area where you can really just plug in, search near me, and you're going to be able to find someone that is, a printing service that's local to you. And so definitely recommend checking out our directory, whether you're an equipment supplier or a print shop, or you're looking to purchase transfers. But we also have our, product section of the website. So any new products, you can check them out here. Our podcast, as I mentioned, every other Tuesday, very soon we'll have our 25th episode. So you have plenty of content. There's John. So make sure you listen to his episode. So yeah, will be 25 episodes that you can listen to, and everyone is so unique and has really great feedback. We have an education section which houses DTF basics, how to, tons of videos, sales and marketing, and then our DTF Expo learning sessions from our first expo, which brings me to DTF Expo, which I highly recommend if you're looking to buy new equipment, if you're looking to learn, and you're looking to network. And so exhibitor registration is open. I think we're halfway full on the show floor, which will be in Mesa, Arizona, April 1st through 2nd of next year. Attendee registration opens in October. So make sure that you are there if you wanted to learn, network, buy new equipment, even just kind of get an understanding of what DTF is. DTF Expo 2025 is your place to be. And yeah, in terms of what's coming up next, we have Printing United, which we mentioned, and we will have a booth there in the Knowledge Center. So if you're at Printing United and you want to meet me, I'll be there if I'm not at a meeting or hosting, or moderating a panel, or hosting awards, or doing everything else that I have on my plan for that week. But I will say that on Tuesday at 3 p.m. in the Knowledge Center, we are hosting the semi-annual DTF Printing T-shirt contest awards. So about 70 people registered for the contest this year. And so we'll have 70 designs printed on a UX blank T-shirt, and our UX print blank T-shirt. Sorry about that. And we'll be having the judges there, and they'll explain, why they chose this year's winner. You can check out all of the different prints and kind of get an idea of, what is successful in this industry or not. And that's 3 p.m. Tuesday, Printing United, Las Vegas, at the Knowledge Center. Trying to think if we always have tons of stuff going on. So subscribe to the newsletter and head to dtfprinting.com. And of course, if there's anything that you think that I should be covering, I am an email or a text away. And yeah, let me know.
Well, Adrian, I tell you, your enthusiasm for the industry is just so contagious. This is just awesome. John, as we start winding down, any words of wisdom, any thoughts that you want to share as we close out our conversation with the one, the only Adrienne Palmer?
I just want, you said 3 p.m. on Tuesday?
Yes, in the
Okay.
Knowledge Center.
All right. Any words of wisdom? I just feel that the support that the industry specifically has started to provide to companies like myself, whatever size you are, is really been great. And it's been because of Adrienne and her work, first in screen printing, then now in DTF. So I would say don't hesitate to reach out to her. You know, she's been phenomenal in what she's done with us and for us. And if you're interested in anything DTF, DTF Warehouse is our DTFprinting.com is where to go.
Love it. All right, Adrienne, we mentioned definitely find you hanging out on LinkedIn, social media, DTFprinting.com. As we close out, a little question, and hopefully I don't stump you with this one. How about words of wisdom? Any advice for entrepreneurs out there that are maybe newer to, or maybe they're seasoned veterans, but they're just looking for a little nugget of golden wisdom? Anything that you want to share with them that would really help take them to the next level?
Oh my gosh. It was something that I actually wanted to piggyback off of what John had said, because I just interviewed someone about this, and it kind of that just try it, just do it mindset. Especially if you're like trying to figure out this content side of the business or social media. I was just interviewing Precious Johnson for the DTF Printing podcast, and she just went all in and just started recording herself in her house. She's a DTF printer, and she thought she was kind of this, maybe not like a big social person or had a presence online. And she's just blown up, especially on YouTube and her social media accounts, and TikTok. And that's how she just kind of does it. She's like, well, my kids might be in the background. I might be asking my husband for a beer. Like, we're just hanging out, but I'm showing you the ins and outs of my business, and you're just like, be yourself.
Right.
I think that's so just try it. If it doesn't work, that's okay. I mean, you can fail, and that's all right. All of us have failed at something that we've tried, but it's important to try and learn those lessons and figure out what works best for you and your business.
Love it. Authenticity is what I'm hearing, my friend. So,
Yeah.
all right, phenomenal advice. Adrienne, what an honor and privilege to have you with us today. And again, reach out to Adrienne, connect with her on LinkedIn, just all sorts of information. As you can tell, if anything that you missed, go back and hit that replay button. She's got tons of information, lots of excitement in the industry. So, John, how about a round of applause for Adrienne for being our esteemed, wonderful guest today? So, Adrienne, we appreciate you. We applaud you. We commend you. Keep that fire burning, my friend. And so we hope to have you back. And you know what, John? Maybe we'll be at the expo. We'll go live with her there. So how's that?
Be a great idea. Yeah.
Awesome. So Adrienne, thank you. Hang out with us for 1 minute. And so guys, connect with John, Apparel Redefined. We're here to help and serve you. We will see you guys next week.
Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.